Hey everyone, Destin here. Before we get into the show, we did the Bungie bounty this week and just wanted to share this montage with you. Check it out.
Let's get the fight out here.
It's actually a good sniper map.
Oh, they shot my grenade out of the air. Jeez.
I thought the Goldie was gonna pop out there. All right, yes, plan C kill finally.
Nice, friend.
I got your back. Just careful of jumping up too high and getting sniped or whatever. You know, I'm right behind you. Left side. There's a couple up there, but they're spread out. Siege. One guy went inside the bridge. He's inside, right below you. Oh shoot.
Oh, that strong quiver,
dude. CJ, wow, dude.
Who wants more?
I saw an X, but I didn't see you get a kill. Did something?
Was
something going on there?
Fine for the top spot, I see it.
Indicated.
Close one.
I'll take it.
Number one.
One more at B. Are they all there?
I got Nova.
Hi, Goldie.
Stream Raider is red barring.
Got him.
Yo, let's go.
God.
Let's go. Turn up. Look, how many kills did I get? Let's go.
Couple more kills. It's close, so play it safe.
Got a golden gun. Golden gun's
team
got
him.
2 kills.
Shoot, it's OCJ.
They're pulling of it.
He's clean. Get out of there. Run, run,
Stop
run,
pushing
run.
over there.
Run.
Stop pushing over there.
Yep.
the lead.
Shut
No.
up.
Oh my
Not
god.
like this. Not like this.
Oh my gosh. OCJ killed me.
Dude, that was his plan. Oh,
Everybody
god.
kept
That was
pushing
his
into
plan
that
all
corner.
along.
I got in a round against that guy every
Dude, look at
time.
that guy freaking carrying everybody. Good for him though, man.
Wow.
That could be you, CJ.
What's up, OCJ, man? Props, dude.
Congrats, Pods Award. Good game.
Welcome to Fireteam Chat. Thank you for joining us. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the March 28th launch of Age of Triumph. We're going to be talking about the new raids that are coming back, and we're going to be talking about all the things in the 13-page record book. Joining me today is Fran Mirabella on my left,
Hey, Guardians.
CJ Gibson on his left,
How's it going? Well, that sounded weird, but okay.
and I hope you're all having a great day. CJ likes it when I can't do the intro.
That's good. I like it. It's awesome.
So, guys, the big launch happened. We're getting Age of Triumph on March 28th. Old weapons are coming back. Old armor sets are coming back as ornaments. Are you excited?
All this old stuff is finally back.
Yeah.
It's been released and it's back, baby.
What's old is new again.
They are changing it in some ways.
How many? This is where you smash cut to like the billion episodes we talked about how badly we wanted this.
And updated raids.
I'm excited. I mean, it's not just that it's coming back. It's that it's modified and it's back.
Yeah,
This is new content.
Yes.
Twisted. It's twisted content, maybe.
We're going to get new armor sets with ornamentation, meaning that we can kind of change the look of it. Let's start with the raid topics. So you can do all the new raids again. It's going to be a weekly rotating event on the
I like
directory.
that. Yeah.
And you can go into a featured raid. The first one's going to be Dark Below, actually. The one that a lot of people thought was not coming back. I'm really excited. We did get a look at the armor set also. It looks pretty cool.
I can't wait.
We saw the Vex set. We saw a little bit of Vault Glass gameplay. And they're changing them a little bit. They're fixing some of the problems. Like Oracles took forever in Vault.
Yes.
They're adjusting that.
Yeah.
You guys excited? You're
I
stoked,
am.
right?
Yeah, I like how they refer to it as a director's cut. That was a smart way to do it, to just kind of say this is not necessarily the exact same thing, but modified tweaks in a way that, you know, we heard your previous concerns about some of those raids again. And it's nice that there's something a little bit different and new about it. It's not the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to be said about that. The fact that it wasn't all this time just, look, we haven't gotten around to it. It's that they didn't like some of the stuff in those raids, and we didn't either. And now we are able to, you know, we'll see how it turned out, but we're able to go through these a little more efficiently, smartly. So I'm really excited to see what those changes are. The way they said it too is they're not really going to tell us everything. They showed very little amount, and they're like, look, we like you guys to go out there on moment one and as a community figure out those changes. So
which is super cool because now everybody's guessing what are the challenges. Like, and you're going in your mind, you're like, I wonder if it's going to be push Templar off a cliff. Obviously, it's not, but it's funny to think of those things.
Challenges on top of the changes.
Yes.
Right? So I think just so there's total clarity, right? First of all, yeah, you will either, I don't know if it's day one or at some point, you'll be able to play all the raids at your leisure. But the weekly challenges.
It's a 390 version of the raid.
Yeah.
And it has all the challenges activated.
But in other words, you can always go into any of the raids you want, right? But there's a weekly event with rewards, I assume, right?
Correct. Yeah. So the weekly event, the raid's at 390. The regular events, it's at like 370 or something. So only that week you can do all the challenges. They said they're going to be giving you a ton more than they normally do, so it's going to be a little easier to get ornaments and the armor and drops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I hope that's accurate, because if you remember the Vault of Glass days, where you for a year you just played Vault until you got your helmet, Fatebringer. Yeah. Speaking of weaponry, Vex is coming back.
Oh yeah.
We're going to talk about that this coming Wednesday, about what they're going to do about the weapons.
Yeah.
You brought up the challenges. What do you think they're going to be, CJ?
So it's funny, when I was looking online, I mean, everybody remembers the old cheeses that you used to do.
They're
They're joking about that, but it's like, I'm not 100% sure. I think if we're specifically talking about
Start with Vault.
Vault of Glass, I would say for Atheon, I think there's going to be something to do with everybody needing to carry the shield once or something to that effect. If we're talking Crota, same thing. I mean, obviously more than, but it depends on how much damage it takes to kill them. That's the other thing, right?
The obvious one for Vault is don't let the Templar teleport, which increases the amount of mobs that
they've already done,
make it more difficult.
Yeah,
not a challenge.
Not in a challenge.
I mean,
but
as an objective. So I think it's an argument to be made that it will be a brand new concept.
And they
what did that do? That opened a chest or something. Right?
Yeah. There was that, but it just was. Well, it was harder to do, but it made it easier to shoot him, right? Because he never moved.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I would say that is the same way they did. Is it the Nexus strike where you would sit up top and snipe him? I would imagine they're going to do something along the lines of you have to get down and like fight the oracles on ground level. They pretty much alluded to that.
Well, they might have gotten rid of. Because remember,
they're just going to put probably enemies on the ledge or something.
They'll just teleport you down.
Or teleport you down or something.
You don't know the oracles are there anymore.
Well, they pretty much said you're shooting oracles still.
They didn't say
they showed the oracle. They showed us shooting oracles. So.
But meaning that did they show that first stage though? I don't remember that. Meaning
pretty sure during the gameplay that they showed oracles, and they brought up oracles. They're like, we reduced the amount of time for oracles because you'd be sitting there waiting forever.
Yeah. But the point is you shoot them during the Templar phase, but there's also remember the pre-phase where you're up on the ledge with the icebreaker. That's what you're referencing.
Yes.
I didn't remember seeing the pre-phase in there. Yeah. You literally the countdown, and everybody finding it, and it was that's why you had to have icebreaker.
Yeah, they didn't want
you
you
didn't
wiping.
have to go down there. But I'm actually hopeful that's one of the things that it's not that fun.
No,
that segment is incredibly long.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like that part of the raid is just like a freaking roadblock, and then it's all traversal after that.
Yeah, and that's what it seemed like they were specifically talking about that like content when they mentioned director's cut. Yeah. Like they actually said that terminology, and then even were like, it would suck to wipe at the end when you're one away from damaging the oracle because you had no ammo. And that's happened a lot. So,
is there a favorite part of the raids, all the raids, that you can't wait to see what they've done with? They did bring up,
I gotta say one step at a time, but I mean absolutely Atheon. Or by the way, in the trailer, the guy which it's the classic Destiny voice, but he has more of an English accent. He said Atheon. Blew my mind, by the way.
Oh,
go back and listen. An Atheon, and I was like,
no,
that's really what it is, because in the trailer he says Atheon. Putting that aside, I think
funny.
Atheon. I will continue to call it so. Whatever they did around that.
Take that, Bungie.
Yeah, I think it's the most interesting.
I think know how to pronounce your own names.
Yeah, I think most people, the first thing they're going to say is the jumping platform puzzle.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to twist it up because they know it's favorite, but I'm going to say.
They did say they're going to force everybody to do it.
Yeah.
Now, my first flawless was Vault.
Wow.
Which is the hardest one to do it on.
I still don't have that, actually. I was trying it with Lovebree, and a few other people were like, hey, let's do Crota, because I could do that.
If you want flawless, you need to do it now.
I know. It's like, I got to try to do that before. Yeah. I am excited for those for that middle bridge section in Crota. I feel like there's a moment there where it's like everybody pretty much, I just grabbed the sword and jumped over the bridge most of the time and never
flew. You mean?
It flew, exactly. And I've never still probably to this day actually did it right. And,
really?
And prior to that, you'd get somebody jumping out of the level and then sniping the enemies from across the map. So there was always
they're gonna fix that.
Yeah. Of course they are, but it's like, what are they actually gonna do to make it fun again? But then also, not allow people to do some of those things. I mean, again, for as much as I played Crota, 90% of the time I've done it that way.
I'm really, really surprised, Fran. You have not said Oryx yet. Oryx is your favorite raid, or at least that's what you've told us.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see what they do with those mechanics, because Touch of Malice doesn't work anymore on those encounters with the bubble shield thing that people used to do. It's going to change it up.
It's funny you bring that up because I haven't even processed, because to me, Taken King is still so close in
Yeah.
terms of my mindset. Like, honestly, that raid was so massive and spent so much time in there. And then I spent a lot less time in Wrath of the Machine. And I like Wrath of the Machine. It's great. It's tight.
Yeah.
It's smart.
You're in and
it's
out.
beautiful. But meaning I spent so much time, I was like, I didn't even think about like, oh, there's changes in there. I'm not as excited to go back. Like, I liked a lot of what they did in Taken King as sort of, I always say it was, convoluted isn't the word I use, but it's very eclectic in sort of how each challenge goes to the next. They don't always tie together. But yeah, good point. I'm like, if there's a whole new way to take down Oryx, that's going to be really interesting.
There are a few parts in there that could probably be tweaked or
Yeah,
improved a little bit, but for the most part, that's a pretty solid. That's probably one of their better raids.
Right. But again, they didn't say
All the
they're
raids are
like
good.
going to go in and change the raids. They said they've changed things. Right?
Director's cut.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
but again, like we don't know, like it might be minor, like you're saying, like they've done something to like the bubbles or the.
I'm scared about the 390 version of that raid.
How hard it's going to be. I mean, Oryx in general was a long raid. So just trying to actually think of what they could do to shorten that, like that is when you compare it to the other two, you can almost run Crota in about a half hour.
Yeah, no,
20
Taken
some
King
minutes. So yeah, Taken King was a long, long raid.
You have a full week to run it 3 times on your 3 characters.
I got to do it. I
You
got
have 3 characters.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's another
I have 3
conversation. We're going to
characters,
talk
yeah.
about
3
your
classes.
Titan. There's a
Oh, I
Titan
know, there's a
page
note on
just
here.
for you.
Yeah. Let's get right into it. So one of the other items that we're going to be discussing today is the record book. There is a 13-page record book that's being included with Age of Triumph. And some of the items on that record book include character-specific pages for Hunter, Warlock, and Titan. Fran,
That's right.
You have a lot of shoulder charges to start doing.
I do. I got to catch up on those shoulder charges. Yeah. So if you have not caught it, I had 3 warlocks because for me it's very mathematical, and I want gear out of these raids. I do it 3 in a row. I was one of the first actually in Wrath of the Machine that I saw
Prior
that
to
had-
Infusion.
Yeah.
Because this is the reason you did that. Prior
No,
to
but even
Infusion.
after, I was one of the first in Wrath of the Machine to have the hard mode shader because you have to get a complete set. So I like the benefit, and there's some people who still have that, right? I just want to defend us and explain because there's a lot of people who are like, "Are you crazy? Why would you do the same thing over and over?" But there's a benefit to the gear drops, and there still will be
'cause you
some
just
effect, right?
dump 'em over.
Think of it: if you're chasing these gear sets, I kind of have a benefit, and I'm torn on what do I do. Do I like start a Titan on Xbox, which someone joked about, and keep my 2 locks because that's my main PvE class, or do I just break one down and start a Titan? Anyway, yeah. So you have to do certain things in the Age of Triumph book
With each class.
with each class, but they did make it clear to say, look, there's gonna be stuff in that book that like we don't want you to feel like you have to complete the book.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. We don't know how that plays out yet.
Well, when they talked about that, they specifically were talking about Trials of Osiris because there's stuff in there like Wrecking Ball, which turns out I actually have when I was very happy to see, where they're very difficult to get. Not a lot of people have that particular medal.
Yeah.
So they said, hey, look, to complete this page, you don't need to do all this stuff. You only need to do like 6 or 7. I think they said 7 of the square circles. So a lot of it's like get about 25 revives or whatever in Trials of Osiris. So for me, when I hop in, I have 1 of each character. That's how I played since the beginning. And each year I picked a different class to run with. And I think my book's going to be pretty far along. Not all the way done, though. There's still going to be plenty for me to do as a player like that. What about you, friend? Do you feel overwhelmed now that you have a whole character page?
I feel overwhelmed because of the vault. I feel overwhelmed because there's just story stuff that I've talked about a lot. Like I don't have the year 3 Thorn and Icebreaker actually.
On any character?
No.
I don't either.
Did the
Is that in the book, though?
we don't know that. But what I'm saying is
get
there may be-
55 exotics was one of the book things.
Yeah.
I don't know how many there are total.
But you get my point. I think there's certain quest lines, and Destiny has suffered from that over time. There's likely to be, it's happened in every one of these moments of Triumph type record books. There's stuff that you kind of got to grind out and do. And it's good that it's launching now because basically, right, they're giving us more time. There's a lot to do if you haven't done it. And so good news is, well, I do stream Destiny all the time and I play all the time. Mostly just been playing Trials, but now I can go back with a purpose, and there'll be, I think there's some entertainment to like I'm going towards something versus before it was like, yeah, I haven't gotten all 3 exotic swords, right?
Yeah.
And I've wanted to, but I started and I was like, you know what? I've already beat Wrath of the Machine. I don't have Dark Drinker.
Go get the Relic Iron.
And I want it, but I don't want to go on that grind.
You don't want to grind to 500?
Oh yeah, well, you don't want to bring that up, do you, CJ?
Well, it is one of those things where initially, when we were talking, it's like I kind of don't mind the grind. I feel like the chasing of that new number would have been cool. The way they explain it makes sense to me. Like everything at 400 and just being able to do new raids. And
I mean, that's a punishing concept without new storylines.
No.
We've seen we've seen mini cutscenes. We haven't seen that aspect of the Age of Triumph stuff yet, but there are cutscenes that they're using in the trailers, and I think we are going to get a little bit of a cinematic story.
That's true.
A little bit.
Formations and
Nice,
stuff,
yeah.
but yeah, totally different. Yeah, there's like new cutscenes and stuff. I think absolutely. Yeah.
They're not new. I think they're going
Or
to be
modified.
cutscenes. Like you speak with the speaker apparently at one point. That's what it looks like anyway. And that could have been a reused asset from year one.
Yeah,
the
people
year
were
one
wondering about
storyline.
that with the Vex and seeing that a few weeks back
Right.
as
Yes,
well too.
yes.
You never know if that stuff's
I
gonna
think
be.
that.
Well, that was old concept art. If you're talking about the video,
Yeah, but
that's just an old concept that wasn't used.
Doesn't mean they can't repurpose it. And finish
exactly
it, right?
for maybe this. Yeah.
But I do think it's viable. You know, I don't know what rating to place on, but it's viable that, like with Wrath of Machine, we saw that very short Aphrodite cutscene.
Yeah.
I think it's very viable. There might
That was not cool.
but like think of the first time, whatever you.
I like the cutscene, but like that, it's like, hey, I'm Aphrodite. Hey, cool. Welcome back.
See you
The
later.
end.
Hey,
I know.
Saladin.
What?
Yeah,
That's really
pretty
it?
much. Yeah, this is our
Hey,
budding
Saladin,
romance.
remember me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you're
I
alive?
miss you.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It's like what's going, and we never get.
So are we
Stop.
still okay? Or
There it is. I was waiting for you to do it.
Can I call you? Like
We thought there was going to be a week-to-week romance there. Didn't pan out.
Yeah.
Will they
I was
get
so
back
hoping.
again?
Yeah.
It's like it's like them at dinner.
Exactly.
What do Guardians eat? They never eat.
That's a great
Oh,
question.
where we go with this?
Glimmer paste. I don't know.
And now we know that we can have bionic limbs and all this other business.
The
as well,
ornamentation
too.
from the new
Yeah,
raid gear.
that
And it looks like
very cool.
Do you think it's going to be one raid
Oh, yeah,
set with
geez.
multiple ornaments, or do you think it's going to be multiple raid sets with 2 ornaments for
It's-
classic look and new look? They did say all new
Yes.
helmet.
Yeah.
The old weapons are coming back, but we'll figure out on Wednesday about how they're going to handle elemental primary.
Yeah, I mean, so I think it's going to be a raid set with 2 ornament slots for each. Like that's the way I interpreted it. Yeah,
Original
what's
and
default?
new.
I know that's what I mean. I don't know if there is like,
I-
can you get the old ones anymore, or is there like a new, or do they look exactly the same and then there's 2 ornamentations
That-
on top of that?
Well, why is there two?
What if it's one
ornamentations?
set and you get a different
Yeah,
piece
that's what they
from?
said.
What if it's a new set? You get a different piece from each raid, and then you have ornaments, and you can make it look like any of the sets that you want. Old set,
Wait.
new weird set.
I didn't catch this in the stream. Or did they confirm there are 2 ornaments per each set?
They didn't confirm how many ornaments are on each set
Right.
at all, but they did say using ornamentation you can change the look of your armor.
Right. So,
Yes.
which we know we can do today. We've already done it. But like, meaning maybe I had understood it. We were talking about it, right? And I was like, maybe you're right. It sounded like we were talking about was you'd have the default set that you still get. And
then with an
it's not going
ornament,
to
you
change. With
modify
the
the
ornament, though, it actually highly modifies it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's where I was
Like
like,
the Vex
wait, I'm
slot.
going to get a freaking robot leg just by plugging in an ornament slot. But like,
Yes.
why not? So maybe it's just one ornament set, right? You have standard, and then you plug one in. You have this like decked out Triumph. That's what I thought is how it would work.
That's
but
what I
didn't
think
they say
also.
2 slots though? Because you think about the weapons, right? Like Icebreaker is Icebreaker
it
as
is.
and then
No,
there's
it's true.
2 slots.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's the way I interpreted it as there'd be 3 looks.
So you have your default set.
there is.
Yes.
And then you have your VOG set.
Yeah.
What would
Or wait, let's say you have your default
Is the
multi-class
VOG.
set.
default
Yeah.
year
And then you
one.
turn on an emblem, and it's the crazy one.
Yeah.
And then what's the other one going to
But that's my point. Is like,
sure,
why do
yeah.
they have 2 Triumph slots? You know what I mean? Like, what's the purpose
Yeah.
of that next?
I think we're going to find out more on Wednesday.
Of course,
about
yeah,
that
yeah.
other set.
It's obviously just exciting, but I hadn't considered that there could even be 2 ornaments per thing. That would be amazing.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
What if you got to
I'm not
redo
expecting
Oryx?
that.
What if
I'm
you
not
do
expecting
redo Oryx and you get an all new set for the challenge mode with ornamentation? What does ornamentation look like on Oryx? It's going to be cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
But you know, and CJ, you know this well. Like Trials, right? It's got 1 slot.
Yes.
That's what I expected. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
does the raid gear today. So
Yeah.
that's the assumption I'm making. That's why I think that.
Yeah, yeah, I can't remember if they said that because weapons have 2, so that
Yeah.
was the reason why I thought that I heard them say that potentially they're going to have 2 for
But armor
each of the
sets
armor
never
sets.
have.
No,
So
yeah,
I actually don't think that. There's a lot of work already being put into this. I would really be surprised. Not that I
Yeah.
don't want it.
no, I know.
really want
Yeah,
it.
and it's super cool either way because
I want 3 actually.
yeah,
3 or 4.
I would love it if it was one set and you just pick how you want it to look. Because the only reason I say that is because one thing they're not doing is adding vault space or a kiosk.
so that was my next
That's the
statement.
problem.
Yes, and they pretty much said that it's not going to be added, and that
no,
was
they definitively said on
confirmed,
Bungie.net,
not added.
not adding vault space.
I know.
So
But it's
one
a
of these
legit
days,
issue,
I need to
yeah.
go through and just infuse
it
and
all.
get rid of everything.
Yeah, and everybody
I can't
was,
do it.
I know everybody was joking with me because I have a bunch of like, I have Fatebringer and everything at like
Oh.
170 or 150 or what it was. The issue is now you delete that stuff to make room for the new stuff, and then it's
Yeah.
totally gone. And you do, but right now where I'm at is it's full. So
But is
playing
it-
those raids and waiting for those drops, it's going to be the
Deleting
same
in
thing.
the raids is going to be
Yeah,
an issue for some
it's
people.
going to be huge.
You're gonna,
again.
oh guys, they're wanting to move on, and you're
Yeah.
like, wait, I got the helm. I got to delete my old one. Oh, it's on my other character.
Yeah.
Let me use dim. I'll move that over and delete it. If you're hoarders like CJ and I,
100%.
But
which they exist.
Yeah.
so let's say you get your Fatebringer, the new one, but it functions differently than the old one. Are you going
That's
to
a good
delete that
question.
old one?
Yeah, I mean,
Gotta let go. Okay, I can tell you, I'm
You
a big
can
hoarder.
still use that in Crucible though. Like there's some raid weapons that are actually
that's
viable
true.
in Crucible.
That's
So
true.
it's just like
I don't think
want
you'll-
to get rid of the 170.
So
Yeah.
you won't see that. I feel 99.999% certain because they're going to balance the new Fatebringer. Well, it's got to accept the new hand cannon balances, etc. They're not going to have two different versions of that. I'm not.
Will it be an elemental primary? Probably not, right?
I don't
no,
know.
I think-
people are saying.
I
that.
hope so.
Yeah.
Why not? Who cares? Like seriously, at this point, how does it affect the game balance?
I mean, it
To be
affects-
fair, the special ammo stuff, it's a mess right now in Crucible.
It is.
And I think they need to reevaluate.
Yeah.
But elemental doesn't it's not a big deal. Meaning in
They
PvP,
think it's a big deal. It's not
For
about what
what?
we think. We
PvE?
don't think it's a big deal.
PvE?
For some reason, they just don't like elemental primaries. They got rid of it with
No, I
Atheon,
know.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to reason, like, okay, where? Just give me an example. Where is Atheon's epilogue going to break PvE?
Skolas. That's
No, it
that's
was-
Yeah.
that's where they started
That's
thinking that was a
Fatebringer.
problem.
Yeah.
But the point is, we're
'cause it
already
was.
400. You can crush it. So, like, okay,
Yeah.
if you bring light levels up, maybe it's different.
They are bringing everything.
You know
up.
what I mean.
I
We've
do.
only got 3 or 4 months left with this, if all goes well. So, like,
Yeah, the
Triumph.
Artburn
Let's celebrate.
primary thing, that was a big issue. That's why I would say that mission at Skolas was one of the reasons why they probably reassessed.
oh,
those
good.
things.
So, for one thing that not that many people played, we destroyed the whole idea of
Hey,
elementals.
let's
I don't
talk.
think it's
Let's
that
talk
good.
special ammo. Well, yeah. I mean, that's what they do. They look
We
at
could-
some of the details and they go, "Hey, we don't want this to happen anymore," and they literally nerf special ammo. Now I'm
We
like
could talk
planning for an
sandbox.
icebreaker.
I feel like they've been too reactionary with the
Yeah.
entirety of the sandbox updates. There was a time where everything felt pretty good.
Yeah.
And they just freaked out, and they've been trying to get it back to a place of stability. And right now, it's not great. Multiplayer is kind of messy.
I disagree with that a little. Like me, I
So
think,
you like only using sidearms?
No.
All the top weapons used are all weapons that circumvent the special ammo adjustment.
Exactly.
Because
Icebreaker.
it's either
no land.
you don't have special ammo or you have a weapon that circumvents it.
no, I don't like
They
that.
need to fix it.
I'm just, I was saying when you said the sandbox was good, like you're right. I was mostly happy, but let's face it, whether it was snipers or shotguns, there's always something that's been pretty annoying, or it's like we're stuck with pulses or we're stuck with autos. There's a ton of balance to be done. My point is, I was just gonna say, I think they're very aspirational about like, we can figure this out. It's a lot to play with. And yeah, they tried to do it, and it's really annoying that sidearm is like the only thing that carries ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all I've been using, and I'm like crushing with it, which is great. But then like that's
Great that I learned how to use my sidearm.
Yeah, but everybody's
I have
using it.
no other viable option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
My other
it's
viable
boring.
options are Invective, which I think generates ammo, Icebreaker,
It's yeah.
Yeah, and Invective is not an
and
issue.
shotguns are a mess right now.
Yeah. And I would agree with that. Like that's where it's like really annoying that they've broken it. It sounds like that sandbox update's coming though.
I really hope that
yeah.
we at least get one more major sandbox update.
Oh,
and
yes.
do you think so? This is the last major update for Destiny, the last content drops that they're doing. Is that it? Are we never going to get
content
sandbox
drops?
updates?
No, I think sandbox updates will still happen, and it was nice that they addressed that. Like, I mean, I heard a question, and basically, I think it might have been in the stream or in the FAQ. Like, Destiny 1, they're supporting for a long, long time.
Yeah.
They made that an actual bullet point to say, hey,
That means that servers will be online. Does
Yes.
that mean tweaks will be made?
I think it's one of those things, especially right now when you have all this new kind of content being generated, and especially new weapons coming into the meta at a higher light level. They will continue to tweak for the next few months, and that's the reason why a lot of these new weapons that they introduce each time, they need to see how it plays out. So again, after March 28th, if there is elemental burn in the primaries or however that works, there's going to be another new patch update in the next few months for
What
sure.
did they do with Halo 2 since you played so much? Like after Halo 3 was out and all that, did they
There
go
was a-
back and sandbox updated.
There was a player who stayed online for like a
He
year
was the
after they
last
shut
guy.
down servers.
Yes.
He
was
kept
in the
Halo
game?
2 alive.
Yeah.
Him and a whole group of players.
I remember seeing his gamer tag. I would log on and like, no way. Because I
Yeah.
tried to stay online for like 15 hours after, and I was like, yeah. And I remember seeing my last game at Coag, and I was like, no. And they turned it off.
hilarious.
But it's different with Halo because basically the meta of the weapons never changed. There was no introduction of new
There
weapons.
were no tweaks to Halo 2.
I
after
see.
launch.
Yeah, there weren't really
Yeah.
like patches to how the weapons worked. Or
There was one major patch like a year into the game, but then after that, they didn't.
That's mostly for people who were hacking the system. Right?
It was a combination of
So it was
DLC and
Alright.
balance. Yeah, there were not new
hacking,
weapons
but-
introduced into the game that changed the meta completely. And that's where Destiny, like everybody says, oh, we were playing a beta. It's like, no, legitimately, they're introducing new weapons that change the game every 6 months. So this is another one of those moments, especially on March 28th, where they're going to redo it again after once they realize how this affects the game.
But I was gonna say though, I actually don't think it'll be too heavy. Like I think there'll be some patch type stuff, but honestly, like they're very data driven. They're looking at all this stuff. They need to make the Destiny 2 community happy now. Once that comes out, I don't think you're gonna find too many major updates at all. Really,
not major.
Like meaning, I think it's what's done is done. By call it if it's July or August. If there's any more, like what we did tweak shotties or whatever again.
Yeah.
that's gonna be basically it. And
Yeah.
that's the game you're gonna get for the next 2 years or 10 years or whatever you want.
For sure. Yeah, if there's no new introduction of weapons or anything like that, yeah, absolutely, I agree. Yeah.
I cannot wait to see the next update on Wednesday and the one after that, and then get my hands on it. I'm really, really excited about Age of Triumph, and I'm really happy that they did this.
cool.
Scott teased this to me way they're like, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I think that's the most.
I
important.
remember that
Remember
in
you were-
Germany.
you were
exactly.
there. I think CJ
Yeah,
was
we were all
too.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I've been kind of knowing something was coming.
Yeah.
but it is not a vault space solution as
They also
originally
teased.
teased.
No.
So yeah, that's why honestly I thought it just had like kind of died in the fire.
Yeah, vault space is not. I'm pretty sure it says on Bungie, it's done. There's
It
no
is.
more storage solutions for Bungie 1.
Yeah.
that's it.
We'll
that was
live.
in the FAQ.
I'm not thrilled about it, but we will live. I only feel that way because we're so close to the next one. And
I'm
honestly,
stoked.
once,
I'm really
again,
excited.
we've been doing it on the show lately because we're getting pretty anxious. But like once you see those trailers, man, for the next one, I don't think we're gonna be too worried about where
Yeah.
the changes are to
Yeah,
Destiny
no,
1.
that's
true.
CJ will, but other than him,
CJ really loves games, and he really appreciates what a team has built. And from what I've gathered about your personality, like you don't like to let go of Halo 2, even when Halo 3's out.
No.
You want to play like a game with a community that you've sort of fallen in love with.
Yeah.
Stick with it.
And I will say, just from looking back, like we all, hope that Halo 3 would be what Halo 2, an evolution of that. It was very different.
I loved Halo 3.
And Halo 3 was still good, but it's funny that the iterations of the game and the different types of things that you do within the game change how the community feels. So there is something about the Destiny community right now. And even playing on the Bungie Bounty, which we'll talk about in a little bit, it's like those moments right now exist because the game is very popular still after 2+ years. It's got a huge following. There's a lot of streamers and all that stuff. So hopefully this carries over, and I'm sure it will. But there's always a different feeling that when a game is released, you have expectations. Sometimes they're met, sometimes they're not, and it just changes sometimes.
You know what, CJ? Let's talk about community right now. So,
yeah.
Last week, we actually did something called the Bungie Bounty. Now, this is an event where you can come play against a Twitch streamer or YouTuber, or IGN last week was the bounty, actually. And we all got together and played against the community, and it was awesome. Thank you to everybody who came out to participate, to hang out on youtube.com/Fireteam chat. It was a ton of fun. I had a blast. You guys wanted to mention some people specifically who we played against.
Oh!
And I just want to bring up that I did really well, better than CJ.
Stop that, Destin. No, you didn't. We all had an awesome time. I mean, CJ. I mean, I don't know, how does that happen? That's
Yeah.
what I say to Fran all the time when I'm playing, like, oh!
There's somebody named that came up. They don't maybe know.
Yeah,
that.
so the context is we were playing, and it was the first few rounds, actually, I think, when we were not doing so well. We were trying to shake off the cobwebs.
We sorted it out.
Yeah,
We got
maybe
it.
a little nervous in those first few rounds. But this,
Fran was.
of course he was. But this guy named OCJ, in the last probably 2 minutes or a minute and a half, we were up by I think 300 or 400 points,
Yeah.
about to win, and he got a golden gun, and he tweeted me the video. He crushed our whole team,
But he
You
saved
saw
it.
You did, but
And
you
he
saw
was
it.
He
Skull,
was
skull,
already
skull.
crushing, to be fair. Like,
Yeah, he
we
was.
should
It was
have
a
seen
really close game though. Like
Yeah.
we weren't getting dominated. It was like
It was not
It was like
close.
100-point game the whole game.
was.
It was an awesome round.
It was. What I meant
I
by
love
that was
matches like that.
Yeah, that's good.
This guy OCJ was doing so well that, like, meaning once he popped the Goldie at the end, I was like, yep. Like, he knew, meaning in other words, he knew they were gonna win.
Yeah.
He was holding on to it if he needed it, but like the truth is, we were not winning ever. Like it was that on that match.
I
Just
re-
to be fair.
I remember your call-outs. You're just kind of like, go the.
Yeah, I think I just.
I'm
gave-
like,
I
did
was
you
like,
just? Friends like,
Yeah.
I just lost the game for us.
And I was in the same boat. I was sniping down the range. I was like, okay, and then boom, and I was the last kill, and I'm like, oh,
I'm like, just run away. What are you doing?
no. Yeah.
But
it was fun.
But yeah,
It
the
was
point is, we had a ton of fun. This is the first time we've been just a part of something like this. I think at IGN, even I would say, like, it's kind of a very community-driven event. And I've talked to Deej and the team about this, and like, we're IGN. We reach hundreds of millions of people with the brand, and so we're looked at as, I mean, we are the press, right? However, we play this game as the community. We are fans. We are the community, and so it's interesting to finally be a part of that. And it was great to hear from everyone directly that they didn't know we were streaming. Destin and I stream. We put a lot of extra hours into the game because we truly enjoy it, and it was just nice to see the community come out. So thank you to Bungie and the whole team over there for having us be a part of it. It was awesome.
It was
And special shout out to everybody who joined us on youtube.com/fireteamchat, twitch.tv/the Destin channel. Tons of people in there. Thank you so much. And a special shout out to my mods, Xavier, Clay, everybody who was in there helping that night. It was very difficult because it was much larger than sort of anticipated. So thank you guys for being hands-on.
What was the number of views? I think at one point in time I looked and it might have been like around 900. Or,
That was
got
different.
very-
It was above that
Destin,
across all the
so,
channels.
yeah.
It was pretty good.
it was really good. It was super fun.
Frank,
I should mention, since I don't wanna-
FM3_.
Yeah, leave anyone out. I'm at /FM3_ on Twitch. And yeah, like the future, one of my main mods. Thank you very much. You do such a great job. But obviously, we had Michael Lovebury and Click who had to come into our chat. We had 4
And Champ
chat countdowns.
Champ was doing
Yeah.
YouTube.
Exactly.
And the
Countdowns.
future, of course.
We're going to leave people out inevitably, but thanks to everyone who helped support us and therefore support the whole community out
Michael
there.
and Click It for helping do
Yeah.
the countdowns. Yeah, jeez.
I will say one last thing. We did have a teammate that we all, I guess, got dyslexia and didn't refer to his name properly. We called him Macaroni in the stream. We'll just call him Mac for short. But there was one round where he
That was probably my
totally
fault.
dominated. Well, it was all our faults, but I think we all said it at least
CJ's
once.
fault.
Yeah, whatever. But it was like, I think he got like 28 kills one round, and then
there's
went on winning. I was like, okay.
There's a couple.
When we got it together and we were like communicating well, but like I noticed like we would panic sometimes and we would all spread out. And I'm like, stop doing that. Our method's working.
Yeah.
And then like everybody would kind of
Yeah,
taking total credit. I kept
There
it
you
together.
go. Yeah, it was
There it is.
Destin, ladies
I knew he
and
had a
gentlemen.
point.
Yeah. And I'm great. That's all I wanted to say.
There it
But no,
is.
I was happy we didn't get crushed, but I was happy when the other team won, honestly, because they get
Yes.
emblems.
Yeah, they get the
That was
emblems,
great.
and that's so cool. You're going to get those in about a week from when that event took place. So if you did win or you participated, thank you, and you should be hearing from Bungie soon.
Yeah, it is normal. It takes a few, so if you're freaking out,
We want ours too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I didn't even
Because
realize
we don't
get
have
them,
them.
so I'm
Yeah,
happy
that's
to hear
awesome.
it because
Yeah.
I've chased a few and I haven't gotten it.
Me
yet,
too.
So I can't wait.
So that's the reason why I wanted at least one win, and I think we did not too bad. I think we got like 5 wins.
I think we won more
4
than we
losses.
lost.
Yeah, I think it was
All
pretty
right,
close,
we can
so.
get some extra hands in
Yeah,
here.
that's right. Yeah. There you go. It was good. It was fun.
So any final thoughts about Age of Triumph, the community? I am super stoked about what's coming for Destiny. Destiny 2 is on the horizon. We have a great send-off for Destiny 1. I'm pretty happy with how it's wrapping up.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I had an awesome meal and there's a killer dessert on the way. Like I feel like honestly, that
Age of
feeling
Triumph
when
the
you're like,
dessert,
you know
or
what?
is Destiny 2 the
Exactly.
dessert?
No, the 2.5 years we've played has been a great meal. We had some appetizers there with the beta and the
Yeah.
alpha. How far do you want me to take this?
I want to know where
I
this
was gonna
analogy's
say.
going.
Yeah,
a
pretty
long
good,
way.
isn't it? Anyway, but I do mean that. I feel very like satisfied already. Like,
Are you
I do.
hungry?
Yeah, I'm hungry. By the way. Why isn't this? This makes perfect sense. But meaning I truly mean it. Like I'm very happy with where I've been with these games, despite all the vault I want or the balance I want. But I'm very excited for this last tray of dessert. That is Age of Triumph.
Dude, go get a
But my
lunch.
point
Go get
is,
some lunch.
where I'm going with this analogy, because I've been setting it up, you keep interrupting me, is I'm ready for that next big meal. Destiny 2, meaning I'm ready to, like, you know what I mean? I'm ready to move on is my point. So,
Wow. I mean, I don't know how to follow that.
sorry, man. I think it makes perfect sense. I hope it does.
The funny thing is, I remember an old Vidoc, I think, where Luke Smith used an analogy.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's like, but multiplayer is your main meal. I'm like, we're talking about food now?
Wait, I didn't. Okay, I don't
Anyways.
know if that's it. Yeah.
I will say that, yeah. I do like the record book. And for all those people who are initially going, oh, trials, it shouldn't be in there. I like the way they implemented it this time where
You don't have to get everything.
you don't have to get everything. Because I was saying that the last time, the reason why I thought it was good to have in there to go to the lighthouse is that is a fundamental experience of Destiny. It's the same thing with completing a raid. It's the same thing completing with, like, you should do those things. Even if you get carried or even if you don't like playing those type of games, I think it's cool to do them. So, yeah, really, really excited. And wondering if it's going to be a flux grenade or a magnetic grenade.
Oh, yeah, bring on the stickies. Don't get me started.
Yeah,
That was-
exactly. Get 100 stickies in trials.
If you see Fran in multiplayer, shoulder charge him one last time before he makes his
No,
Titan.
do it.
Here's how you really
Please
get me.
do it.
Please stream deleting your warlock.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gotta
be really good.
You gotta sticky me, and then I get shoulder charged in the middle of it.
And then you blow up.
By the way, there's a part of the stream where legitimately, I'm pretty sure 2 people coming at me with shoulder charge. They teamed
I
up.
think they knew
it
who you
happened.
were,
I gotta
and
find
then
that
after,
clip.
yeah.
It
That'd
was
be
like
good.
2 people, like they were coming.
Yeah.
It's well
when
known.
you say you don't like something, what do you think's going to happen, Fran?
Yeah.
Oh,
By
I
the way,
hate
this
shoulder
weekend,
charge.
everybody, if you know and listen on the show and find me, you're gonna be stickies and shoulder charges. So
Yeah.
great. Thanks for bringing that up.
No problem. I mean, you hear you in the chat going, no! Like, Fran just got a shoulder charge.
You hear crash,
man.
No!
Ethics. It's one thing if it's a joke,
Ethics.
but if you actually play the game that way, that's a
I
whole
want a
other
shoulder
episode.
charge.
Oh,
That's the
man.
whole other episode. So,
All right.
Ah.
Guys, thank you so
excited.
much for joining me for this chat. And thank you to everybody listening for joining us. And we're going to do the outro now.
great. I'm ready.
Yeah, you ready? All right. Well, until next time, Guardians out.